When you hear this story, you're going to ask yourself, how could this even happen? Debt collectors hound a woman for years, with endless, ugly, illegal phone calls, demanding that she pay back a loan she insists she never made. The nonstop calls come to her house, her family, her neighbors, even to the elementary school where she teaches. Matt Grubbs investigates an outrageous abuse on special assignment.
Elizabeth Hernandez started getting the phone calls years ago. Calls from Georgia said she owed. From Missouri, she owed.
I do have an affidavit for some.
From Colorado, she owed.
Those calls just kept coming and coming and coming.
A debt so serious, so late,
that they were going to pursue criminal charges against me. So I'm like, what did I do that you're going to pursue criminal charges?
but she couldn't find out, no matter which debt collector she asked.
I said, well then, send me a contract and I'll be happy to pay it.
The contract never came, Hernandez says, but the calls came at a furious pace, and they started coming to the Santa Fe Elementary School where she works.
They called my principal, they called the secretary, they called my counselor, our school counselor, they called our school cafeteria.
Once, the debt collectors called every extension in the school. It is blatantly illegal.
Basically said, we know you are working with Elizabeth Hernandez, and we just want you to know she's a liar, untruthful.
Before we knew it, Elizabeth was fired, is what the rumor was around school.
Principal Teresa Liebert saved a message she got in February.
I tried to take care of this matter in a more tactful manner, whereas though I would not have to enter into the school with a sheriff's deputy in front of the children. But I was informed by Ms. Hernandez that she does not care. Serve her wherever she is.
Of course, the process server and the deputy never showed. And of course, Elizabeth Hernandez does care. But the calls are so frequent, the principal doesn't have the heart to tell Elizabeth about them anymore.
Every once in a while she'll come in and I'll say, yeah, about 40 more, Liz. 30 more, Liz. Just 12 today, though.
All the threats.
I will have to be escorted by a county sheriff's deputy.
Have been empty threats, which makes them fully illegal. Still, the calls keep coming.
Elementary, this is Vicky.
And the school has tried everything to make them stop.
To screaming in the phone, to whistling in the phone, to just slamming the phone down, to being rude right back, to saying, you will not harass this place of work and this is a public school and you will leave us alone.
I'm like, wow, you know, who does that to somebody?
The nonstop calls, you guessed it, also illegal. We decided to find out who was making them.
You've never talked to her, but you've called her.
This is an Atlanta collector.
Where have you called her?
And he's trying to get his story straight.
So you have an account for her, but now you're saying that you've never called her?
We called half a dozen numbers.
That's correct. She is a school teacher.
And while everyone knew exactly who we were talking about, no one owned up to the harassing calls.
Are you calling to resolve the account today?
I'm calling to find out what the account is.
Okay.
Then we got Elizabeth on the line and called Alex at CCSA, that's Cherry Creek Strategic Advisors. Despite the fancy name, he's a debt collector. Alex said Elizabeth took out a payday loan online 4 years ago and still owes almost $400 on it.
You don't remember any loan of this nature that you
Absolutely
took
not.
out?
No.
He agreed to follow the law,
We'll send the letter that's required by federal law.
put her alleged debt in writing, and not call her school.
Liz, would you like him to stop calling your school?
Absolutely. And stop calling my neighbors and stop calling my family.
But CCSA won't stop calling Elizabeth Hernandez until she puts that request in writing. And that's just one of who knows how many debt collectors hounding her.
At least 20 calls a day on my cell phone saying they're going to serve me tomorrow.
Illegal threats and a life made miserable by a loan she says does not exist. On special assignment, Matt Grubbs, KRQE News 13.
Elizabeth now has an attorney and she plans to fight back. She doesn't know if the payday loan company has her confused with somebody else.